بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Welcome to the second lecture on basic Sarf. In the first lecture we have spoken about the different awzan as well as their meanings, and now we shall speak more in detail about each one of them in the way that we would, if we can say so, conjugate them. So first of all, the fi'l thulathi mujarrad, the fi'l that's made up of 3 letters without any addition, which is just the first line here. In this table you will see fa'ala, starting here, ماضي, فعل, يفعل, افعل, فعل for the masdar. Now, for the thulathi mujarrad, this is not an absolute rule. You will find a number of verbs, af'al, that will follow this pattern right here, but some won't. We can have, for example, daraba, so we have a fatha on the ayn in the madi, but in the mudari it will be yadribu, and the masdar will not be dirbun but darbun, it will have a fatha. Hasuna yahsunu, so he will have a dhamma in the madi and the mudari, and the masdar will be husnun. We can have qatala yaqtulu, qatlun, alima ya'lamu, ilmun, etc. So what I want you to understand is that for the thulathi mujarrad, this first line here, all these boxes here do not really follow a precise rule. There are some patterns that have been explained, and you shall study these inshallah ta'ala in Medina book 3. However, I find it much easier to just get the hang of it by listening and talking rather than studying those patterns, because these patterns, they don't really they don't really function very clearly. However, once we get into these 2 boxes here again, we are upon a clear-cut rule. It will always be this shape right here. It will be on the wazn of fa'ilun, means that the first letter of the fi'l, the fa, will have a fatha and be followed by a mad. Then the middle letter, the ayn, will have a kasra, and then we'll have the last letter, like that. That's for the ism fa'il. The ism fa'il being the one doing the action, right? If we would go back to our previous meanings, for example, to cook, the cook, that is the one doing the action. The name that you give a person doing the action, that's the ism fa'il. The cook, the writer, the commenter, the teacher, right? You have the verb to teach. I am teaching. I am a teacher. Teacher, that is a name. It's not a verb. So that is the ism fa'il in Arabic. Then we have the ism maf'ul, which is the one who is receiving the action, the one the action is done upon. Back to our examples, we will say cooking, the cook, and we will say the cooked, right? Like the cooked thing. Although in English this is not a noun, I believe, in this case. But for example, written, right? Written can be a noun, and it can be a verb, can be used as an adjective, but it can also be used as a noun. So that's what is called ismul maf'ul. Ismul maf'ul. So this is an ism. So all of these here, the masdar, the fa'il, and the maf'ul, these are all asma, whereas obviously the af'al, madi, mudari, amr, these are af'al. So again, this here, you will need to learn it by heart for every fi'l, whereas this here, you'll just follow the rule, as we shall see in the examples in coming lessons, inshallah ta'ala. Going on to the next wazn, af'ala. Now, unlike this line here, every single fi'l from af'ala and onwards will follow the same pattern. So in the madi is أفعل, like أجلس, أعلم, أعلن, أضرب, etc. In the mudari', so it means that we have the first letter, the hamza, which will get a fatha, the fa'ul fi'l a sukun, and the ainul fi'l a fatha. In the mudari', the first letter will be the zawaidul mudari', right? Which is either going to be a hamza, alif hamza, ya, noon, or ta, right? You will say, for example, if we take the fi'l ajlasa, it will be if it's ana ujlisu, anta tujlisu, huwa yujlisu, nahnu nujlisu. So this is your زائد المضارع, which is going to be one of these four letters, as I said, and it will have a dhamma. That's what I want you to understand here. It will have a dhamma. Fa'ul fi'l will have a sukun. Ainul fi'l will have a kasra. Then the amr, likewise, it will always follow this pattern. It will be the hamza will have a fatha, fa sukun, and the ain al kasra. Ajlis, adrib, a'lim, etc. And obviously the amr has a sukun from his i'rab. Then the masdar will always follow this pattern as well. Hamza with kasra, fa with sukun, ain with fatha, and then an alif mad, and then the last letter. If'alun, ighlaqun, ijlasun, idhabun, etc. Right? Then the maf'ul in this scale here is muf'ilun, and the fa'il is muf'ilun, and the maf'ul is muf'alun. And you shall see that throughout the fa'il and the maf'ul, throughout these scales, you're gonna have the same pattern. Is that the word is actually the same. The only difference is that for the fa'il, the ainul fi'l has a kasra, and for the maf'ul, the ainul fi'l has a fatha. So look here. Muf'ilun, mufa'ilun, mufa'ilun, mufta'ilun, munfa'ilun, mutafa'ilun, mutafa'ilun, mustaf'ilun. Whereas for the maf'ul, we see that it's the same word, but it is muf'alun, mufa'alun, mufa'alun, mufta'alun, etc. So again, the only difference is that here the ainul fi'l has a kasra, and in here it has a fatha. So continuing, fa'ala, the next scale. For the madi, we have yufa'ilu. For the madi fa'ala, for the mudari' yufa'ilu, amr fa'il. And the masdar taf'ilun, mufa'ilun, mufa'alun, etc. So I think you get the idea. In coming lessons, inshallah ta'ala, we shall apply these scales with their meanings to different af'al that I have selected. Stay tuned. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.